What is up, everyone? Today we're going to start the video a little bit differently than we usually do. We usually jump right into talking about cryptocurrencies, but I just wanted to take a quick moment here to say thank you guys so much for all the support here. I don't generally make channel updates, but the growth has been explosive recently. And to illustrate that, I have my Social Blade page up here, and you can see that all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. It can't even keep up right now. This is about 130 subs behind or so right now. And all of a sudden YouTube started recommending my videos. If you go to my watch time here, you can see that all of a sudden out of nowhere this particular day on September 29th, you can see that the watch time for my videos was double of what it was when I released the article on how the Bitcoin bubble will pop. A lot of time went into that article, and I promoted it as best as I could. I got quite a few views when I released it, but man, I have to tell you, YouTube just did a number in terms of, in a good way, in terms of recommending the video. And this is just up until September 29th, so this is 2 days delayed. But if we were to look at September 30th and October 1st, I guarantee you it's going to stay at roughly this height, because it hasn't slowed down. If we go to the real-time analytics on YouTube here, you can see very clearly that all of a sudden I've had this huge spike in activity on this video, and a little bit too on this video as well. So I just wanted to say to everybody, thank you. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate the support. I plan on continuing to release videos, and I plan on continuing to release analysis. Alright, let's get into talking about cryptocurrencies, because a lot has happened since the last video. Or, I shouldn't say a lot has happened, but price action wise, we are in an interesting market right now. I believe I last made a video at $4,200. That's where Bitcoin was. I'm looking at Ethereum here. Bitcoin was at roughly 4,200, and it's now at 4,300. But there was a short period of time where it went all the way down to 4,000. You can kind of see the tail end of that price action here. Let's see if I can capture it a little bit better. Right here. And you can see with these two particular candles here, well, it was really just this one candle, and then it recovered very quickly. But I do remember during this candle, this actually happened pretty much immediately after I released the video onto YouTube where I talked about the hard forks for Bitcoin. And we saw this huge sell-off, and we have since seen price recover. What's interesting about this is that we haven't really seen the volume behind this recovery yet we're starting to see more headlines, in my opinion, that suggest that we might actually be headed back upward towards $5,000 or higher. And the reason I say this is because we have Japan basically giving licenses out to exchanges. We have discussions of possibly China and the exchange ban being temporary. They might just be doing regulations, which means that we might see exchanges come back to China in some time in the next 6 to 12 months. That would be a huge catalyst. And there's just been a number of factors that have led to me to believe that there's going to be a lot more money flowing into Bitcoin. But the biggest reason I think money's going to flow into Bitcoin now is because of the two hard forks that might be coming. I say might be because we don't really know for sure yet, but it does seem like they will be. And that is Bitcoin Gold on October 25th and Bitcoin 2X, or whatever it ends up actually being called. And both of those hard forks, people are going to want to invest in Bitcoin beforehand so that they can get the forked cryptocurrency. That's what happened with Bitcoin Cash, and a lot of people made a lot of money by holding Bitcoin through the Bitcoin Cash hard fork. What I want to talk about now is some of the price action that we've been seeing in the cryptocurrency market. And you can see here that there's a lot of red, but honestly, the market feels like it's pretty healthy right now in terms of going to the upside. I'm starting to see more positive headlines. In terms of where to invest your money right now, you could consider Bitcoin just because of the fact that you will get the hard fork cryptocurrencies. I would tend to believe that the value of Bitcoin might actually appreciate more than the total value of Bitcoin Gold plus Bitcoin 2X. What I mean by this is that I do think that we might see a sell-off after the hard forks, because there's a chance here that, first of all, because there's no replay protection, there's a lot of threats to the network. But in addition to that, because this isn't the first time, or this isn't, with Bitcoin Cash, nobody knew that it was going to act like a dividend. Now everybody thinks that it's going to, meaning this is probably going to be a buy the hype, sell the actual hard fork. So if that's the case, then I don't want to be holding Bitcoin really going into a lot of these hard forks. Maybe you can hold it going into the Bitcoin Gold hard fork. I don't know if you want to hold it too much going into the Bitcoin 2x hard fork. It's hard to say, if I'm being honest with you, because again, the surprise with Bitcoin Cash was the value that it traded at. But with these two other cryptocurrencies that could fork from Bitcoin, everybody anticipates it. And when everybody anticipates something, usually the exact opposite happens. So I just want to point that out. In terms of other places you can invest, you can consider Litecoin as usual. I've been saying this over and over again, but it is still drastically undervalued compared to Ethereum and Bitcoin. You could consider Ethereum as well, mostly because it is 2 weeks before the Metropolis update, the first portion of it, and usually there's a little bit of a run-up before these types of events. I would sell it off before the announcement because, again, it's going to be one of those things where we probably see a sell-off after the news actually hits. Other cryptocurrencies I'm looking at, I'm keeping up with Monero. Monero really hasn't seen a lot of price action over the past couple of weeks, and other than really just going down for the most part, so I'm going to keep an eye on that because a lot of people are still very bullish on it. I'm also looking at Zcash because it had a huge move upward towards $400. It shows the potential is there. There's a lot of excitement over Zcash, but it had a huge correction. What's important to note about this is that Zcash is by far one of the most heavily discussed cryptocurrencies, yet it's all the way down here at 16th on the list. And I think that it's hard for me to believe because Zcash is actually one of the first cryptocurrencies a lot of people hear about when they get into the cryptocurrency scene, right? You obviously have the big ones. You have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and so on and so forth. But I want to say that Zcash, like if you compare Zcash to Waves, in my opinion, there is way more discussion about Zcash than there is about Waves. Now, I'm also long Waves, don't get me wrong. I like Waves quite a bit, and I've invested at the 98,000 Satoshi level towards the beginning of September. But I just want to point out that Zcash, I'm watching this very closely because the excitement is there behind it. And even though there's a lot of people talking about on the subreddits how it isn't truly private, there's this huge backdoor, it's only pseudo-private because at any given point the foundation could have this master key. There's a number of different factors that people are talking about. And so I would say in general, when it comes to Zcash, you want to be careful here, but I am watching it closely because the support's clearly there. Steam also had a run-up recently that it's the social media platform for anybody who's unfamiliar with cryptocurrencies, steemit.com. Steam had a huge run-up recently. I'm watching that very carefully as well. I don't really know how viable their business model is, but I do know that there's a lot of excitement behind this project, and as a result of that, I continue to watch it closely. Now, I know you're all going to get on my case for this one, whether or not this is pronounced Kyber or Cyber. I'm sorry, everybody. I really am, because I know that based off of my How the Bitcoin Bubble Pops video, a lot of people get very annoyed with mispronunciations. So I'm going to avoid saying this. I'm just going to call it a decentralized exchange. I don't know. But anyway, basically this is a new cryptocurrency that recently launched, and it's had a lot of support from even Vitalik and a number of other people, big profile names in the industry. And if we go over to here, you can see that it's sort of traded downwards since the initial hype here, but it's coming back up now. And the big question with this particular cryptocurrency is if it gets listed on Bittrex, are we going to see another huge pump up in volume and price? So I do know that there's a lot of institutional support behind this cryptocurrency. I know that there's a lot of big names behind it. So there's a lot of potential here. I haven't looked into it a ton, so the valuation of it, I'm not really certain at this point. But it is one that I'm going to be looking forward to in the future, and I might be doing more research on this particular cryptocurrency soon. Alright, ARK is having some interesting price action recently. I've been watching this very closely. There has been some discussion on the cryptocurrency Reddit talking about price manipulation from another ICO that was raising funds with ARK, and they're basically flooding the market with said ARK. Whether or not this is actually true, I haven't really verified the information. I just know that there's a lot of discussion about it right now. All I'm going to say is that ARK right now, in my opinion, is criminally, I shouldn't say criminally undervalued because it's had a huge run up recently when you look at it over the last couple of 2 months or so. But in terms of whether or not you should invest in it, I'm, again, still watching this very closely. I purchased some at 65,000 Satoshi. I'm really hoping to get some at 61,000 overcut. I think that that would be the ideal price level, somewhere around 60,000, because there is a ton of price support at that price level. However, if I'm not able to get there, at least I have some at 65,000 Satoshi. If it does go down to the 60,000 Satoshi range, I've said this in a previous video, I would buy as much as you can, or I shouldn't say that. I would buy a reasonable allocation in your portfolio of ARK, because I think at 60,000 Satoshi, it's a deal. It's a steal at that price. So those are my thoughts on some of the major cryptocurrencies right now. Obviously, I'm watching more than just that, but I try to keep to the top portion of this list rather than the bottom portion of it. I am still invested in Vertcoin. That's probably the riskiest cryptocurrency among the ones that I currently hold. It's been pretty boring in terms of the price action. In fact, it's gone down quite a bit since that initial news of the atomic swap. And at this point, I'm only up 10% on Vertcoin as opposed to being up roughly 100% at its peak here. So hopefully we see some action in Vertcoin soon, but I don't, again, this is a long-term hold. I'm not going to sell it till it's rank 50 or higher on the cryptocurrency list, so I guess we'll find out over the period of time whether or not Vertcoin has what it takes to accumulate in value. Again, this is more of a risky speculative position, but I'm hoping to generate some sizable returns to offset the risk. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I wanted to make an update here on talking about the markets right now. As usual, leave a like, comment, and subscription, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.